we're asked to simplify this, and so the numerator, some of you guys did FOIL. I teach my students to do the box. You're essentially doing the same thing. You're going to multiply, and then you do what? Add or combine like terms. Cosecant x minus 1, cosecant x plus 1. It does not matter if you had put in the minus 1 over here and the plus 1 over there. Let's multiply, class. Cosecant x times cosecant x. Cosecant squared x. 1 times cosecant x. 1 cosecant x. Negative 1 times cosecant x. Negative 1 cosecant x. And negative 1 times 1. Negative 1. We just multiplied. And now we're going to add or combine like terms. Class, are there any like terms? You essentially have like a 1x and a negative 1x equals 0. So that cancels. Yeah. Here. Remember, these are synonymous. These mean the same thing. Follow through. Crane with your hand, right? It's the same thing. So now the numerator looks like this. Cosecant squared x minus 1 over cosine squared x. Talk to your partner, 15 seconds. Which identity does this look like? Ready, set, go.
Would still be the same thing if you just put parentheses cosecant x parentheses squared?
Cosecant parentheses x squared. Is that what you said?
No, the cosecant and x are inside the parentheses and the squared outside. Like that.
Yeah. Remember, it has a power of 2. Mary Grace. Your partner's name. Crystal. Which identity? She says the Pythagorean identity. Cole. Partner's name. David. Which identity? PQR. He says a Pythagorean. Thank you. Manal. Partner's name? Brooklyn. Which identity? She says the quotient. Remember, my hint is the power of 2. So that means it has to be a Pythagorean identity. Brooklyn, which Pythagorean identity has cosecant in it? Can you tell it to me, please? Class, how can we make ours look like this? If we subtract 1 from both sides, I'm left with cotangent squared theta equals cosecant squared theta minus 1. Now, if you get confused with the variables, you could have made all these x's, which is fine. So every time I see cosecant squared x minus 1, we're not going to write that. We're going to write cotangent squared theta. Well, we have x's, so we'll keep it x's. Let's separate cotangent squared x. Cotangent squared x can be written as what? Look at your identities, P, Q, or R. Talk to your partner in 5 seconds. Gustavo, partner's name. Pamela. What do you know about cotangent? Cosine, right? Because we use the Pythagorean identity. It's okay? Okay, Pamela. What do we know about cotangent? The reciprocal. Okay, you could use a reciprocal identity, or quotient identity. Tell me the quotient identity for cotangent. Now, recognize that cotangent is squared, so that essentially just means cotangent times cotangent, which would be cosine over sine times cosine over sine, and that's cosine squared times sine squared. So we did the quotient identity there. Cosine here is where? Numerator, denominator? Remember, there by multiplication here you can cancel factors. What are we left with, class? Partner B, tell partner A, what do you know about 1 over sine squared x? Look at one of your identities. Omar, where are you? Partner's name? Mariana. The reciprocal identity. What is the reciprocal identity of 1 over sine? So this will become cosecant squared x. Let's review what we had to do in this problem. I had to multiply the numerators. Then I used a form of the Pythagorean identity. I changed cotangent using the quotient identity. I simplified, and then in the end here, in orange, I used what? The reciprocal identity.